there are three authors, and all three of them were addicts before, and they found that, especially Hal Elrod, he found five things. One, two, three. No, I'm sorry, six things that successful people who have succeeded in drug addiction or getting out of sobriety and other areas of their life, he found five things that they all do. Now, I think he is the first one to kind of put them all together. But before that, they were like one person would talk about one thing, the next person would talk about another thing. Sometimes they would talk about two or three, but he put them together. And I'll tell you, I just started reading the book and I'm very excited about it because I think it can actually make a difference for me. Now, it helps you. It gives you some strategies to make you a morning person. And yeah, I could hear the collective groans. We don't want to be a morning person. But the thing is that we may have convinced ourselves that we are not a morning person, but it can be learned very quickly. In less than 30 days, according to this book, you can help yourself become a morning person. I've always been a morning person, so it's not very hard, but I could tell you this, in the last couple of months of this COVID-19, where we were locked down inside of the house, it's a lot easier to stay in the bed than it was before. I do get up, during the night and I read, I write, I pray, whatever, but the morning has always been my time. So if you're not a morning person, it's saying that they can help you to become one, and you just start with 5 minutes in the day, and they tell you what to do for which minute and things like that. But the five things that he said that people do are: one, it's an acronym, SAVERS, savers. So the first one would be silence, where they actually ask you before you go to bed to get an affirmation or get something positive. Whatever you give the brain to work on during the night when you sleep, the last thing you give the brain to work on, it will work on that. And in the morning, you would have a solution. So if you have a problem, you want to give your brain that problem to work on the last thing before you go to bed. And when you wake up, you will have the solution to it. The other thing is that if you have something positive, you put something positive in there before you go to bed, it will work on that positive thing. And when you wake up in the morning, you will literally have a positive attitude. So the first silence is to actually think about what you last put in your brain and what your brain is thinking about. A lot of times people encourage you to have a pen and a piece of paper at your bedside because you will get that solution, you write it down, and that way you could have the solution. I could tell you there's a lot of times I get my solutions in the morning, my strategies, my if I'm doing a project, writing a book, I get that in the morning also. Now you also want to do affirmation, and then this ties into what you do at night. And they have websites that you could go to actually get some of these if you don't have anything else that you use. So affirmations, you really want to get the affirmations going because it's like repetition in the brain. Whatever you teach the brain, you want to repeat it. So repetition will get it embedded in it. Think about when you were learning the timetables, the multiplication timetables. You repeated until you got it. And then now as an adult, you could actually remember what you learned. So the next one is vindication. Vindication, you want to look at yourself, your activities, and you want to kind of be nice to yourself. Because yes, we've all made mistakes. We've all done horrible things. If you ask a young girl 20 years later what happened, you will find we all have kind of the same story. We were curious about things. We wanted it. We got involved with this guy. That was the wrong guy. We had a baby, whatever. And then, we adult now and we got um, some sense in our head. So vindication. The next one is E, which is exercise. They encourage you in this book to get some form of exercise, whether it's 5 minutes or more in the morning. And when I started my little journey recently on where I want my life to go, what I what do I want to incorporate. And health was the first thing that came up with me. And um, exercise was one thing. Now, one of the things with exercise is that I would pay the gym and I would never show up because I would convince myself, oh, don't go today. It's going to be boring, whatever, whatever. Well, what happened is that on the 4th of July, I joined the gym again, and I could pat myself on the back. I have been actually going to the gym. I want to very cover very quickly the last two. The last two is reading. The next one is reading. You want to read something positive. You want to put reading. You want to put something in your brain. I've been reading. I mean, everywhere. Everybody who knows me knows I carry a bag of books with me all the time. It's in my car. It's in my shoulder. It doesn't matter where I go. I carry books with me. I love books, and I think I have been as intelligent as I am because of the books that I read. I do read self help books, but I also read books, novels, and things like that. And lastly, the last one is scribing. And we have been talking about this all throughout this podcast about journaling. Scribing is actually writing. And how I write, like for instance, when I wrote about self care, I had the word in my head. That was the word I wanted to explore in my writing that morning. And I sat down and asked my brain, what does self care mean? What does the word self care mean to you? And sometimes I go to the dictionary and find the definition of the word, and then I look at internally what is my definition of the word. And then I start exploring, well, do I have a bias to in my definition? Do I need to be more open minded in my definition? How does it connect with what the actual meaning of the word is? And do I have all the pieces together? Now, it doesn't mean that I have all the pieces together, especially with like what I came up with self care, the health and life and career and inheritance and legacy. But that's what I write on at the moment. And then I go down to each one of those and okay, what is good health? What does good health mean? And what do I have to do to get good health? And I would itemize that. And then what am I doing wrong? In fact, I started writing, what are my myths about self care? Myths meaning lies that I've been told or lies that I've embraced to believe. And they're lies, they're not true. So sometimes you could tell, well, I'm not good enough. Well, you're not good enough for what? By whose estimation? So you want to be able to really look at and write what you're thinking. It opens your mind. Scribing opens your mind. Anyway, so I have given you a little bit more on self care, and I am hoping that you will be able to embrace it and start working on it. One of the things that was very, very helpful for me in my experience was I recently, one of my guests, Donna Satiro, she has been on here sharing what she does. She's actually calls herself a hypnotherapist. She's a certified hypnotherapist. And I had a session with her, and that really helped me to clear up some things that was I didn't realize was there in the forefront of my mind and bothering me. So she helped me clear that up. And I find since I've had the session with her, which was like 2 weeks ago, I am sleeping better. I'm sleeping more calmly, if that makes any sense. And I am better able to make decisions for myself for things that are good for me. So, friends, thank you for listening to us. And I want to give you the opportunity to reach out to us. If there's something that you heard today that may have puzzled you, or you want more information on it, please, you can either email me at societybitesradio.com. You can email me at my own email, which is TODDYJADOO, TODDYJADOO @gmail.com. You can also Facebook message me. You can find me under Toddy Jadoo or even Jadoo Lifestyle, JADU Lifestyle. Um, let us know what you think. Let us know if you have a question. send a question to us. If you want to hear more on some topic that I haven't touched on that you feel may be necessary for other business owners, please reach out to us and share our podcast. We're going to be sharing this so that you can listen to it on Facebook, and then you can share it with your groups, your friends, and this is good for all business people as well as self-employed, or even if you're employed for somebody else. So once again, I want to thank you for listening. This is our 26th episode, and join us again for another session. We're going to have Annette Bergman as our next guest, so join us.